Good morning and welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
What role did former President Roh Moo-hyun play in the disappearance of the initial transcript of his summit with then North Korean leader Kim Jong-il? The prosecution will announce its investigation results this afternoon.
And President Park suggests creating a joint history textbook for countries in Northeast Asia. Details coming up.
And in business news, there's investment interest on an island in Incheon. We'll tell you about it on In Print. A tragic part of Korea's history and a disconnected youth. I'll be back later with a closer look at a play meant to bridge that generational gap.
The 7 bad boys of K-pop are back. Block B has captivated fans with their one-of-a-kind performances. We sit down with the boy band who conquered the #1 spot. And it's the perfect time to roast, bake, or fry freshly harvested potatoes. But today on Korea Eats, Chef Matthew Chung is going to cook them up in a special rice dish live from his kitchen on Friday, November 15th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Good to have you with us on Korea Today on this Friday morning.
Good morning. And as Hwang Ji-hye mentioned in her headline, in her preview, President Park Geun-hye has made a suggestion of making a joint history textbook among the Northeast Asian regions to promote peace and cooperation. But this whole process may be easier said than done, as the region has and still has its share of territorial as well as historical disagreements.
That's right. The idea is to follow the precedents set by France and Germany back in 2006 when they published a joint history textbooks. And like you mentioned, given the current political climate, it sounds like a great idea, but whether this is plausible remains to be seen.
And it takes a lot of negotiations and also truth, for that matter.
That's right.
All right, we'll get to our headlines. We'll hear more from Hwang Ji-hye on our news.
Korea's state prosecutors will announce the results of their investigations later on this Friday into suspicions surrounding the missing 2007 Inter-Korean Summit transcript. Local reports say the prosecution has tentatively concluded that late President Roh Moo-hyun ordered his presidential office staff to delete the initial draft of the summit minutes and did not transfer the revised version to the state archives. If prosecutors have come to this conclusion, those former staff members will face legal action for deleting the draft. Former Presidential Secretary for Security Cho Myung-gyun, who allegedly revised the first draft of the transcript, claimed it was a simple mistake that the final copy was not transferred to the archives. The whereabouts of the summit document became a political hot potato after the ruling party accused the ex-president of conceding the Inter-Korean maritime border to the north during the summit meeting. An interesting proposal set forward by President Park Geun-hye on Thursday in the face of continuing tensions among countries in Northeast Asia due to territorial and historical spats. That is to publish a joint history textbook among the nations in the region, namely Korea, China, and Japan. Her remarks came during the opening ceremony of an international academic conference at the Korea National Diplomatic Academy, making the 50th anniversary of its establishment.
독일과 프랑스, 독일과 폴란드가 했던 것처럼 동북아 공동의 역사 교과서를 발간함으로써 동서유럽이 그랬던 것처럼 협력과 대화의 관행을 쌓아갈 수도 있을 것입니다. 갈등과 불신의 근원인 역사 문제의 벽을 허물 날이 올지 모릅니다.
President Park also said that such efforts could help resolve the so-called Asia paradox, which refers to the public, political, and diplomatic rows that hinder integration despite the tight economic relationship within the regional bloc. The party is over, Finance Minister Hyun Ho-seok warns public institutions as the government steps up its efforts to carry out sweeping reforms in order to improve management of these agencies. Hyun said Thursday the government will tighten its monitoring of all public institutions by going through their books and combing through internal corruption cases in the face of growing public discontent.
In the past, there might have been the belief that things will subside after a short period of time, but this time the government will push to overhaul public agencies fundamentally and systematically.
Public institutions have been criticized for their reckless financial practices, with their combined debt doubling since 2008 to more than $375 billion in the second quarter of this year. The chief culprits have been identified as Korea Land and Housing Corporation, Korea Electric Power Corporation, and 10 other public agencies. A set of confirmation hearings to name the heads to key government posts have come to an end this week, but none of the nominees have yet received a green light for appointment. The opposition Democratic Party said on Thursday it would agree to give the nod to nominee Hwang Chan-hyun and Kim Jin-tae as respective heads of state auditor and prosecution only if Moon Hyung-pyo, sitting for welfare minister, steps down. The DP said that Moon is unqualified for the position as he has been using his company credit card for personal reasons. In response, the ruling Saenuri Party said the opposition party is trying to lay a burden on the president. Prosecutor General nominee Hwang does not need to receive parliamentary approval, whereas the other two positions require a go-ahead from the National Assembly.
And happy Friday, everyone. A mixed batch of stories today. Let's go ahead and begin with the front page of 중앙일보. It's a story that you already heard in the headlines, but this headline reads, public institutions squandering at debt's pit to be corrected. Finance Minister Hyun Oh-seok yesterday warned debt-laden public agencies that the party is over. He called the heads of some 20 such agencies yesterday to show up for a reprimand, and the image shows a few of them waiting for the arrival of the finance minister. From left to right are the heads of Korea Resources Corporation, Korea Oil Corporation, Korea Gas Corporation, Korea Electric Power Corporation, and Korea Land Housing Corporation. The article adds that on the same day, Moody's issued a warning that Korea's public institutions and their debt could threaten Korea's credit rating. And scooting on over to 조선일보 now, its top story gives one example of such irresponsible management. The headline reads, management of National Federation of Fisheries Cooperatives stuck in the old era. So why old era? Let's take a look at the subheadline for some examples. It says the NEFC, with an annual budget of 5 trillion won, that's about $4.6 billion, has been operating without an integrated computer network. And when a staff member embezzled some 9 billion won over a period of 4 years, no one was aware. And because of its faulty infrastructure, one worker likened the operations of the co-op to being outdated as handwriting their books. The newspaper further reports that 25% of the 92 fisheries co-ops fall under this category of faulty management. And despite the co-op's inability to pay back the public funds it borrowed back in 2001, it is still giving its employees excessive welfare benefits, according to the paper. And scooting on over to Gyeongyang-Shinmun now, its top story is a critique of ruling party lawmaker Kim Moo-sung's testimony related to the transcripts of the 2007 Inter-Korean Summit talks. The headline reads, in quote, source of transcript was unconfirmed papers, the unacceptable testimony of Kim Moo-sung. The article goes on to say that the contents Kim read out during last year's presidential campaign was a near perfect match to the actual summit transcript. And if Kim's claim that he accessed the information through unofficial means is true, that could incite another controversy over a leak of presidential classified information. Meanwhile, the front page image shows the Korean military sending relief packages to the Philippines, some 20 tons of requested blankets, tents, sanitary packages, and emergency foods in those containers there. The newspaper before 조선일보 added that a rescue team made up of some 40 medical personnel and 119 rescue personnel have left early this morning to the typhoon-stricken nation. And with our next newspaper, we will turn to New York City, a new skyline and perhaps a new start for the Big Apple. 동아일보's image title reads, 12 years later, World Trade Center stands again. And where the Twin Towers once stood will stand a set of towers, and the first of those was officially opened yesterday. What you're seeing in the center is 4 World Trade Center. It's a 72-story glass-encased tower. Meanwhile, over on this side is 1 World Trade Center, which is also known as Freedom Tower, and it would be the tallest skyscraper in the United States when it opens in January. And let's go ahead and wrap things up with a quick look at our main business newspaper this morning. Its headline reads, U.S.'s PNC to invest $6.5 billion in Yeongjongdo Island. Now, the world's 6th-ranking PNC Financial Services has proposed the investment to build a massive 2.47 million square meter resort complex on the island in Incheon that would include a casino as well as high-end outlet shopping mall and a 7-star hotel. Now, this would put them head-to-head against a Japanese slot machine company for the development deal. So certainly a number of eyes on that as well. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Friday. Next up are your closing numbers from Thursday's market action.
And time now to get a check on the weather.
Yeah, we had some rain. I was expecting chillier temperatures, but it's not so bad. But the weekend has something special or dreadful in store.
Would you like to break the news for us?
Right, and I heard that it's going to snow this weekend in Seoul for the first time this winter.
That's right, the season's first snow. How romantic.
Is that early or is this coming on time?
It seems a bit early. I don't know. Right. We'll get a closer look at the weather conditions for today and the weekend with our Lee, who joins us from outdoors. Good morning to you, Dami.
Good morning.
Hello everyone and TGIF. Today I'm reporting live from Gangnam. Now this morning we are starting out with mostly cloudy skies, but most of the nation will be under the effect of a migratory anticyclone, which means that as the day progresses, the skies will start to clear out. There are also signs of fog here in Seoul, but in the inland regions it looks like the fog will be a bit thicker, so please be cautious on the roads. Now today, throughout the day, we will be seeing beautiful late autumn-like conditions. It will continue until tomorrow, but according to the Weather Center, we will be seeing signs, another round of showers tomorrow evening, and it will continue into Sunday morning. And some good news, we may see our first sign of snow here in Seoul over the weekend as well. Now, as for our mercury levels, they have gotten a bit warmer compared to yesterday, I must admit. Lows here in Seoul are at 6 degrees Celsius and highs will jump up to 13 degrees. With that said, let's get a check on the weather for the rest of the peninsula. Daejeon will be the coolest with highs at 14, Busan at 17, and the rest of the nation at 16 degrees. Now, after the rain we receive over the weekend, temperatures will be dropping back into the negatives. So try and enjoy the late autumn conditions while you can. That's all I have for the weather. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
The harrowing story of women who were forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese army during World War II has become the inspiration of a new play that will open its curtains today. And our reporter Im Yoon-hee was at the dress rehearsal. So, good morning. How was the performance?
Good morning. It was very awakening performance. It was there late last night. So this is a sensitive subject in Korea's history. And, the performers really gave a very inspirational performance that really taught the audience, but at the same time, it really just opened our eyes to the issue that they were performing. So the play Bongseonhwa, also called Garden Balsam, was playing this weekend, or starting today. I'm sorry, it starts today, and it has to do with the Korean sex slavery by Japanese soldiers during World War II. And now the Seoul Metropolitan Theater aims to reach out to the community, especially the younger generation. So let's take a look.
At 15 years old, she was ripped from her parents' arms. Forced to become a commodity to the Japanese soldiers during World War II, Suni's story is just one of the thousands of forgotten stories of the Korean sex slaves. Her tragic experience comes to life in Bongseonhwa, Seoul Metropolitan Theater stage adaptation of Yoon Jung-mo's novel My Mom's Name Was Cho Sen-bi. In Korea, the Bongseonhwa is a beautiful flower often mixed with water and used to paint girls' nails. There's a saying that if it stays on your nails until the first snow, you'll find a good husband. At 14 through 16 years of age, it was many girls' dreams to grow up and marry well. In the play, right before the girls are kidnapped, they paint their nails with the flower. The girls, like the flowers, are at a blossoming age, maturing into women, and at that precious time, they are kidnapped. That's why we call it Bongseonhwa. Bongseonhwa's plot involves Suna, a young college girl writing her thesis about women under Japanese imperialism. During her research, she comes across sex slaves in Korea, called chosenbi by the Japanese.
Chosenbi in Japanese refers to Koreans as choson and bi. In Japanese pronunciation, it's bi, which means prostitution. So it translates to the Japanese prostitution of Korean girls and women.
Bongseonhwa goes on to show the father, Bae Moon-ha's recollection of his mother's encounter with the Japanese sex slavery. As a sex slave, Suni endured brutality by the Japanese soldiers and carries the burden of it with her the rest of her life. Her son is aware of it, but her granddaughter is unaware. Suna is a third generation and represents Korea's younger generation's disconnect from their history. She may not have been there to witness the crime, but she, like Korea's youth, is just as much a part of the story.
Suna is a victim as well because the victims who are hurt spread the damage to their family members. Either it becomes a burdensome secret or a scarlet letter everyone judges the family by. Regardless, people on the outside need to change their points of view and not be so judgmental.
Producer Gu Tae-hwan must create a stage-appropriate production while maintaining the passion and emotions within the story. He makes use of repetitive, silent actions, combined with the juxtaposition of colors and positioning of actors to create the strong emotions necessary for this play.
If it's too realistic, it looks too commercial, and people won't look at the deeper meaning. So we made it symbolic.
The kunpyo was the monetary form used by the Japanese soldiers during that time. It became worthless after World War II, but it represents the tiny sliver of hope the girls hold on to. But like their lives, the kunpyos slip out of their hands.
Kunpyo. At that time, they paid the girls with kunpyos, which became trash. It lost its value.
It's been over 50 years since the end of the Korean sex slave days. But even after all those years, the emotional response is still strong. Although this is just a play, reality is made clear. By bringing a piece of Korea's history to the stage, the cast aims to open the eyes of the present and shape the future.
That is a very powerful set of performances, including symbolism as well. There's already some differences that I can tell from past theater performances involving sex slaves, but can you tell us some of the aspects that sets this one apart from the others?
You know, as a matter of fact, this is supposed to be the first production of this issue on this big of a scale. Now, what's really special about this performance is that they actually invited 3 former surviving victims to attend tonight's opening show. And so they're all members of the House of Sharing, which was built...
current surviving former sex slaves?
Yes, they are currently survivors. And they're going to be in attendance tonight. And they're part of the House of Sharing, which was built in 1992 to house these victims.
And this production seems very educational as well. And So is there anything is there anything to attract more of the younger generation to the play?
The younger generation who might not know that much about this whole historical fact.
So they're definitely targeting a wide range of audiences because they want to connect that generational gap, but they did make tickets more affordable so that they can attract more younger generations and students. Now, this performance, I was there last night and I was talking to some of the audience members and they said, a lot of the younger generation, the students said that they knew about the issue and it was something that they had heard about, but the performance really brought it into perspective for them last night.
I'm sure it does. The performance is called Bongseonhwa. It will run until December 1st, correct?
All right, thank you very much, Uni, for this report.
My pleasure.
All right, still ahead, coming up on Korea Today, we'll be meeting a 7-piece boy band by the name of Block B, and they're finally back, breaking a year of silence. They have returned with their third album, Very Good. Their free-spirited demeanor has attracted a large following, and we take apart their unique style and charms.
Time now to check the latest fall trends, and the sweater weather is in full swing. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Sweater weather, right?
Sweater plus leather?
That too.
Sweater,
That's
leather
genius,
weather.
actually,
How's
right?
that?
Oh,
there's a lot of sweaters out there, and a bit pop artsy this season.
That's right. The winter season, they say, is not as fashionable, the fall-winter, because you do have to bundle up quite a bit, but you can look good while staying warm, and this next report will show you how.
The many colors of fall, along with the sharp and cool breeze, signal we are heading deep into the autumn season, one of people's favorites when it comes to dressing up in style. We take a look at the rich fall fashion trends that will bring out your best looks. As a fall and winter favorite, leather always tops the list for fashion items. The first thing that comes to mind, of course, is the classic leather jacket. But these days, unlike conventional black, other colors such as red, pink, orange, and many other bright colors are popular. Also in stylish designs with more flair, breaking away from the basics. Another characteristic of this season is that the types of leather clothes are expanding from jackets to trousers, skirts, blouses, dresses, leggings, and even accessories. And of these, the most unique is the leather dress. These outfits ooze with elegance and added hot flair. And with the many designs, you can create different looks with various styles.
This year, skirts or t-shirts that have leather patchwork in them are particularly popular.
Another leading fall item is sweaters. Warm knits, with their versatility depending on the material and patterns, are fall and winter favorites. Knits are steady sellers each year when the chilly breeze comes round, but the trends change each spring and fall. So what's the style this season in sweaters and knits?
The trend in knits this year will be oversized, colorful, as well as short sweaters that are easy to wear layered looks with.
Bright and flashy sweaters add a layer of glittery glamour to the look, easily transforming in style. Soft and loosely woven oversized knits can be worn as outwear in the fall and inside thicker layers in the winter, making them twice the more attractive.
If you wear long knits the wrong way, you can look more overweight than you are. But if you wear it with tight skinny leggings or jeans, you can look slimmer.
And another trend of late fall that we can't miss out on is animal prints that offer vibrant and one-of-kind look for many. Leopard patterns, zebra stripes, and other animal prints were commonly associated with an aggressive look in the past.
As women gain a stronger foothold in society, their looks are becoming more chic, charismatic, and on top of that, there's also an added degree of the sexy feminine look, and that's why leopard patterns are popular.
But it has now established itself as a popular and eye-catching look among many, and of the various types, leopard print still lead the way. Leopard prints conjure both a luxurious and sexy look, becoming a must-have item for many fashionistas. And this year is no exception in celebrities donning the dotted animal print. One of the goods that has aggressively adopted this trend is shoes. Even the simplest outfit can come to life with the right animal print shoes, which offer a sexy and unique spark to the mundane.
This season, we're seeing more colorful, more pop art-like leopard prints. If you wear bags, shoes, and accessories with various leopard prints, I think you can put on a really fashionable look.
큰 폭으로 움직이는 일교차 분주한 밤의 뒤편에서 독한 리커샷 열정에 사로잡혀 있던 그때 그 날씨에 비해 지금 공기는 많이 날카로운 기분 스웨터를 꺼냈어 몇 계절 전에 입었던
In their music video, they play bank robbers pulling off a huge heist. Kids, don't try that at home or at your local bank for that matter. Joining us is Esna Yoon with more on this special interview with the boy band Block B.
Good morning, Esna.
Good morning. Yes, they got some crazy hairstyles going on. They got funky outfits, they got flashy shoes, and they definitely know how to captivate an audience.
Weird dances too.
Yes, they do. And I got to sit down with these crazy guys, so let's take a look at our interview.
They sweep the stage with powerful sounds and dynamic moves. It's the 7-member boy band Block B. He's the mastermind and leader of the group, Zico, who has his hands on everything from composition, lyric writing, and even to producing. Jaehyo, the face of the group, was already famous for his stunning looks before his debut. The group's vocalist and eldest of the team, Tae, with his deceiving young looks. And there's also Yukwon with his powerful dance moves. The youngest, Pio, shows off his master rapping skills with his ultra-low pitch. Bakyoung brings a happy streak of light to the group, while B-Bomb sweeps the stage with his amazing looks and sleek charm. The 7 bad boys are back with their 3rd mini album, Very Good, breaking a year-long period of silence.
Hey yo, do you want to be Block B? Hello.
Can you guys tell us a little bit about your concept?
항상 그랬듯이 저희 블락비다운 게 컨셉의 주 모토고요. 디테일입니다, 여러분.
All the songs and lyrics in this album, including Very Good, were written by the group's leader Zico, and the title song especially highlights a free and dynamic spirit. Despite being up against names like IU, SHINee, G-Dragon, and many other megastars, Block B showed off their popularity by grabbing #1 on the charts.
And you guys just recently got 1st place on one of the music shows, right? Can you guys tell me how you guys felt when you finally got that 1st place?
그 무대가 다 끝나고 방송이 끝나고 나서야 실감이 나더라고요. 저희가 1위를 했다는 게. 그래서 그 후에 사후 녹화가 있었는데 그 녹화할 때 테리 형이나 피오나 많이 울었고요. 몇몇 친구들은 자기들끼리 고기 파티를 했다고 하더라고요.
During their live showcase event held ahead of their comeback, more than 200,000 people logged in and 4,500 fans were on site, generating some buzz.
저희 멤버들이랑 같이 무대에 있으니까 더 감동이 더 많이 오더라고요. 이렇게 저희가 1년이라는 시간 동안 공백기를 가짐에도 불구하고 이렇게 7명이 같이 다 자리를 지켜줘서 감사하고 앞으로도 열심히 싸워나가길 기도하는 바입니다.
And you cannot talk about Block B's attractions without mentioning their dance moves that are full of humor.
Anytime I watch a Block B performance, you guys are so carefree on stage. You guys have such a free spirit. And every time you guys come out with a song, you guys always have a banging signature move. So can you show me your dance move or teach it to me or something?
I'm very, very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bam.
And not to our surprise, very good includes moves that highlights the charm of each and every member while emphasizing their individual strengths. I'm sure you guys have a lot of future plans. What are some of the goals that you guys have in mind, and what kind of dreams do you guys have for the group and maybe individually as well?
저희 블락비 전체 꿈과 목표는 뭐 저 혼자 이렇게 딱 정의 내리기엔 뭐한데 다 같이 공통적으로 생각되는 건 아무래도 대중적인 인지도가 가장 높은 그런 국민적인 가수가 되는 게 일단 1차적인 목표가 아닌가.
Any other events or things that you're planning to do with the song?
저희 이제 베리굿 앨범 한국 활동은 이제 거의 끝나가고 있고요. 저희가 이제 25일 날 그 아시아에 저희 베리굿 앨범을 발매했어요. 그래서 이제 한국뿐만이 아니라 일본이나 아시아 등지에도 베리굿이라는 곡으로 선보일 예정입니다.
네, 코리아 투데이 시청자 여러분들, 네 저희 블락비고요. 저희 블락비 베리고 여러분들이 정말 많은 사랑을 주신 덕분에 여태까지 왕성히 활동을 할 수 있었던 것 같고 저희들이 좋은 결과물도 얻어갈 수 있었던 것 같습니다. 그리고 앞으로 블락비 또 새로운 앨범을 통해서 꾸준히 저희들 모습 선보일 예정이니까 기대 많이 해주시고요. 네, 사랑합니다. 네, 지금까지 블락비였습니다. Do you wanna be 블락비? 감사합니다.
Do you want to be Black B?
They
certainly have that bad boy image,
Yeah,
right?
they do have that bad boy image, and they do it so well. They pull it off, I have to
Right.
admit. You know, even that whole bank robbery scene, they just do it with charisma and much more. Their expressions are awesome. But did they make it look so easy, though? You know, what's their secret? What's
You want to try this?
I want to be
robbery?
Block B.
You have to first start with the funky hairstyle.
Funky hair, I think. Funky hair
Tell
for
my
you.
stylist how to do my hair.
Yeah, but I mean, as you can see, they are paying attention to every single detail of their performance. They had a whole year to just prepare every little thing that they can. And so for every performance that they have, they kind of switch up their individual dance moves to bring something fresh to the table. And I haven't seen any other idol groups do that before, so I think that's really interesting.
And another strength that this team has is the fact that the leader of the group, Zico, writes all the songs and the lyrics, so he knows these songs inside and out. That must help.
Right, and even for this song, Very Good, I mean, he changed up the song several of times to make sure that the song was just Block B. You know, so he's there inside and out, writing the lyrics, composing the songs, producing the whole album as a whole, and then making sure that this song is just for Block B and nobody else.
And Zico was quite famous before he made his debut, right? So since he was in his teens and...
Well, that would explain the charisma and all the experience that he has.
Right. And he was also featured in many songs of some K-pop stars like IU and Hyuna, so...
Even Verbal Jint, you know,
Wow.
so he, you know, he's known as a rapper, so he's got a lot of good things coming his way.
Okay, well, sounds good. Hip hop has changed quite a bit since I think when I was a teenager. But yeah, way to go, Block B leading Korean hip hop all the way, I guess. Thank you, Asna, for this report.
No problem.
All right, well, still ahead on Korea today. The weather is quite chilly, so how about a bowl of 돌솥 감자밥? It's coming up later on Korea today. A potato rice dish paired with a clean complimentary broth. Our chef Matthew Chung joins us live from his kitchen to show us a special recipe using freshly harvested potatoes and much more. You don't want to miss it. And Young has something to say.
I almost asked you, 돌솥, what?
Well, speaking of being very good, you know who also is very good? Lee Young-pyo, who's actually considered by many as one of the more underrated players in the history of Korean football. And of course, he had his retirement press conference earlier on Thursday, capping years of accomplishments on the pitch. Now, the former South Korean international held a press conference reminiscing his years as a defender for some of the top clubs in the world, as well as the national team. And despite the fans getting emotional as he says goodbye, the 36-year-old never shed a single tear, wanting to be remembered as a footballer who enjoyed the sport. Meanwhile, the Korean national team is set to hold a special ceremony during the friendly against Switzerland later tonight. And speaking of which, it's been over 7 years since the two nations have faced off. And during the group stages of the 2006 World Cup in Germany, things didn't look too good for the Koreans as they hope to change all that later tonight. Now with the 56th ranked Korea taking on 7th ranked Switzerland at the Seoul World Cup Stadium at 8 p.m., manager Hong Myung-bo hopes the Son Heung-min, Kim Shin-woo combo will work up front as the two players have been red hot as of late. And while the two players have been getting the spotlight in the recent weeks, the midfield continues to be the key for the Taeguk Warriors as Switzerland is a fast-paced team who can counter well. Meanwhile, manager Hong stated in a recent press conference that he hopes to see the kind of offense he saw against Mali last month. And now shifting over to the KBO, where Suwon KT Wiz, the 10th KBO team set to join the league in a few years, revealed their team logo, uniforms, and their mascot. And quite a futuristic logo as the team decides to use red, black, and white as their main colors, with a wizard symbolizing the team. And while the mascot seems like something out of a children's storybook, the uniforms were unique as the team decided to go all white and all black as their home and away uniforms. And now moving on to some Thursday night's KBL action as the Goyang Orions crushed KT Sonic Boom 70-54 with Goyang's manager Choo Il-sung earning his 200th win as a head coach. Meanwhile, Seoul SK Knights took on KCC Aegis in Jeonju. So let's take a look at the highlights. Of course, going into the game here, first quarter of the game, SK spreads the ball around the paint, taking a 23-20 lead after the first quarter before KCC rallies to tie the game 35-35 going into halftime. Third quarter of the game, Kim Seon-young puts up 7 points in the quarter, helping SK take a 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Despite KCC pushing hard to rally back in this game, Byung Gi-hoon helps SK with 17 points, including 4 3-pointers on the night as SK holds on to take this game 77-72. And now finishing things off in the V-League, Hyundai Hill State finally got their first win of the season over on the women's side as they beat KGC in straight sets 3-0. Meanwhile, let's move over to the men's side as Samsung Blue Fangs took on KEPCO Vic Storm. Of course, Samsung off to a great start in this game as Leo Martinez and Park Cha-roo combined for 12 attack points as they take the first set 25-18. Second set, Park Cha-roo continues to dominate on the court, this time defensively with 4 blocks, as the second set also goes to Samsung 25-16. Leo Martinez would finish off the game with game-high 26 attack points as Samsung cruises through in straight sets 3-0. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great weekend, everyone, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Whenever I hear the word torsot, I'm thinking bibimbap. You know, torsot is a stone pot that we use, and bibimbap is the mixed rice with vegetables. And if you put it on that stone pot, it makes that perfect, the nureungji, or the browned rice on the bottom, which is great.
Matthew Chung has torsot 감자탕 today, along with 콩나물 국밥. So we'll go over to him right now and see what all of that is all about, right?
Matthew,
Good morning
take it
to you,
away.
Matthew.
Good morning, everyone over there. And it's a bit of a chilly morning, isn't it? So when the weather gets like this, there's one vegetable I always turn to, and that's the potato. And I know a lot of Koreans feel this way. In fact, I know a lot of people around the world feel this way. So the first recipe we're going to do today, it's just called 감자밥. Literally just translates to potato rice. But what makes this dish special is, as Young pointed out, is that it's cooked in a torsot, which is a earthenware stone pot. Now, the beauty of this guy is that it holds onto heat so well and it cooks so evenly. And as a result, you don't really get this flavor cooked in any other sort of vessel. But it does take a little preparation, so it's been heating up under a low flame for about half an hour. So you need to do that in order to get it ready. So we have our rice here that we're going to be putting all our ingredients into. And that's just because this needs to continue to heat up a little bit and get ready. And so into our kamjabap, we have our kamja, our potatoes, of course. And after that, we got some mushrooms, we have some onions, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of bacon, and some butter. So this is the perfect winter breakfast dish. So let's get it started with getting those ingredients ready.
So it's 돌솥 감자밥, not 감자탕. Oh, interesting.
Sounds fabulous, though.
Right.
So he has some of the ingredients going there. Of course, there's potatoes, onion, and mushrooms.
And I heard that potato goes well with bacon, right?
One of the ingredients, in fact, of this dish, I believe, we'll find out.
Okay, so basically he chops it up and puts it into, okay, so he has it with the rice and the water already
That's why
prepared,
it's called kamjabap, kamjabap, right?
So you don't add it after you cook the rice. I always thought you added after you cook the rice, but you
No.
cook the rice along with everything together.
Right, I think that's what he's doing.
That's right. Yeah, so all these go in together, and when those flavors start to marry, oh man, believe me, it's a beautiful thing. So all of our ingredients are just about ready to go. We have added our, that's right, the bacon. That's what makes it a perfect breakfast dish. That's what makes it a perfect anytime dish as far as I'm concerned. And so we've put it into our rice, which has been soaking for half an hour. And that's an important step to the process because, again, you want to cook it nice and evenly. And so you also want to add a little bit more water than you would if you're just making plain rice because all these extra ingredients are just going to drink up that water. So we have this in here, and we're just going to add some extra seasonings now. Garlic, butter, salt, pepper. So here we go. Just a little bit of garlic, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. Not too much, mind you, because that bacon has got salt in it as well, and some butter. So let's give it all a nice stir. Make sure that it's nice and incorporated. And I gotta admit to you guys at home, I kind of misled you. What we have going on right here, it's not just a torso that's been heating up. In fact, we've got a steaming pot of kamjabap ready to go. So let me show you guys just how good this looks. All right. Careful. These torso get very hot.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that.
And
I can't wait to taste it, but
go.
there's no way we can taste it right now.
Oh, that steam that's going to come out, right? All right.
Oh man!
So far, we're just seeing steam.
Not only is this a delicious meal, I feel like I've just gone to the spa as well.
All right, looks great. Wow, look at that.
Now, if you're curious how to make this dish, we've got a recipe coming up for you. So stick around.
Some soup, 국물 to go with that.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the Korean tradition, right? Having a 국물 or some kind of a soup-based dish. So what is our soup-based dish? It's the bean sprout soup. Tell us your recipe, Matthew.
My recipe is my mama's recipe, and this is 콩나물국. It's to Korean standby, and it uses 콩나물, which is a type of bean sprout, specifically mung bean sprout. Now, this is known as, let's say, a great dish after a long, spirited night out with your compatriots tippling it back a few. It's a good hangover cure is what it is. And it's because mung bean sprouts are full of aspartic acid, which is great for circulation, particularly those with high blood pressure. So what we've got going over here is our, we've got the soup going because we need to start off with the stock. Now the stock begins with your standard Korean dashima yuksu. Now dashima, it's a type of giant kelp, and it also gets myeolchi, which is a type of dried fish. And these two together create this really sort of light, yet was a very robust kind of stock, and that's what we're going to base the rest of our dish on. But here's the thing, most of the flavor from this soup, even the broth itself, comes from those bean sprouts. And now they're already in there, and as much as I want to go over there and open up that lid, I just can't, because you can't open that lid too soon. Otherwise, all that flavor is just going to go flying out. So we're almost ready to go on this. We're just going to get a couple of last aromatics ready to go, which include some peppers, red and green, and a little bit of green onion, and we're going to put a little bit of garlic in there later as well. So let's get the chopping.
Bean sprout soup is known for its clean taste, isn't it? Like
yeah,
it's very,
it does taste clean.
Right, unlike other Korean jigaes or soups or the so-called jigaes, right?
Just as Matthew mentioned, after a spirited night out, this is the one thing that
way to
really
handle that hangover, right?
Exactly, right. Well, okay, but I didn't know. I mean, my mom used to make this a lot for me, right? But then she makes it so quick. They're so seasoned when it comes to making these dishes that they make it so quick. I didn't realize that there were so many different.
A lot of efforts go into making that simple dish.
That's the one thing about Korean food, I think, in general. There's just so much effort that goes into it.
And love.
So, all right. Now I think it's time for that magic moment, and we're going to open up the pot lid and take a look and see if we're ready to go. So, oh yeah, and that's what you want to see. It's a clean flavor, but it's got so much texture, and it's light, but at the same time it's satisfying. But we got to work quickly. So, in go our green onions, peppers, and red peppers. There you go.
I didn't know you put in that much.
And a little bit of garlic. Just a little bit.
His recipe.
I like mine spicy. Okay. So what we're going to do is just let this come back up to a boil. And the thing about 콩나물국 is that it's one of those things that it's great for any time. And here's a little trick. If you have any that's left over, it makes for a great base for instant ramyeon. I kid you not, that's what I do with leftover 콩나물국.
Wow.
And so I think we're almost ready to go with this. So I'm just going to turn this heat off, move this over here, and let's take a look.
He's gasping.
The studio
agonizing, right?
And there we go.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at the steam.
Good.
It looks so. If you want to learn how to make this Korean classic, let's take a look at the recipe.
know, 콩나물국 is one of those dishes that's good for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and for late night hangovers too, right?
Yes. As Matthew just mentioned.
Do you guys like it a little bit spicy? I sometimes add some red
I like it
pepper
mild.
powder.
I like it mild too.
Mild? Okay,
That's the charm of that soup, I think.
And the 콩나물국 that Matthew showed us, he used stone pots. He utilized stone pots for both of them, but you can just do it in a regular pot itself. You don't need a stone pot.
We never had a chance to thank him, so why don't we rush over to his studio after this?
All right, once again, on behalf of Matthew, thank you very much, Matthew, for the 2 great recipes of 콩나물국 as well as the 감자밥.
That brings us to the end of this edition of Korea Today.
All right, we'll see you back here on Monday morning at 7 a.m. Of course, the weekend has a little bit of snow in store.
Right, so enjoy that snow.
Yay.
And we'll see you back here on Monday at 7 a.m. Thank you for watching. See you on Monday.